For centuries, the waters of the Atlantic carried more than trade goods and explorers. They carried the dreams, the screams, and the shattered lives of millions. This is not just history. This is memory. This is pain that echoes through generations. Today, Nigeria stands as Africa's most populous nation, a land of vibrant cultures, ancient kingdoms, and resilient people. But beneath the surface of its modern cities and bustling markets lies a history that changed the world forever. This is the story of how millions of Nigerians were torn from their homeland. This is about kingdoms that collaborated and kingdoms that resisted. This is about survival, resistance, and the unbreakable spirit of a people. Before European ships arrived on these shores, the region we now call Nigeria was home to some of Africa's most sophisticated civilizations. The Kingdom of Benin, with its legendary bronze casters and powerful obus, controlled vast territories. The Oyo Empire dominated the Yoruba lands with its fierce cavalry. The Igbo people thrived in decentralized communities, each village a world unto itself. These were societies with complex social structures, thriving trade networks, rich spiritual traditions, and deep connections to ancestral land. People lived, loved, raised families, and passed down wisdom through generations. Imagine your great-great-great-grandmother grinding grain in the cool morning air. Your great-great-great-grandfather teaching his son to forge iron, children laughing in village squares. Elders settling disputes under ancient trees. This was life. This was home. This was everything. In the 1470s, Portuguese ships first reached the Nigerian coast. Initially, they came for pepper, ivory, and gold. But soon, they discovered the most profitable commodity of all human beings. This was life. This was home. This was everything. The Bight of Benin and the Bight of Biafra became two of the most active slave trading regions in all of Africa. The coastal areas of modern-day Lagos, Delta State, and Rivers State transformed into zones of capture and export. Listen to the words of Olaudah Equiano, an Igbo man kidnapped as a child in the 1750s one day, when all our people were gone out to their works as usual and only I and my dear sister were left to mind the house to men, and a woman got over our walls and in a moment seized us both. And without giving us time to cry out or make resistance, they stopped our mouths and ran off with us into the nearest wood. This was not war. This was not conquest. This was kidnapping. This was terror in broad daylight. From the Nigerian region alone, historians estimate that between 3.5 to 4 million people were forcibly transported across the Atlantic. Millions more died during capture, on the march to the coast, or in the dungeons waiting for ships. For million lives, for million families destroyed, for million futures erased, how does a society capture and sell millions of its own people? The answer is complex, painful, and reveals the depths of human cruelty when profit is involved. Let's be clear about something. African participation in the slave trade does not excuse it. It does not diminish European and American responsibility. But we must face this truth. Some African kingdoms, chiefs, and merchants became complicit in this horror. The Oyo Empire conducted military raids. The Kingdom of Bani and Calabar became major slave trading ports. Wars that might have ended in reconciliation now ended in captivity. Minor crimes became punishable by enslavement. People were betrayed by neighbors, kidnapped by raiders, sold by the desperate and the greedy. An 18th century trader reported, "The slaves are procured by being either taken in war, or by kidnapping, or for debt, or for crimes real or imputed." Once captured, people were marched in coffles, long chains of captives, sometimes for hundreds of miles to the coast. The elderly who couldn't keep pace were abandoned. Children watched their parents die. Parents watched their children vanish into the unknown. At ports like Badagry, captives were held in barracoons, prison-like structures, sometimes for months. They were stripped, examined like livestock, branded with hot irons. Their humanity was methodically stripped away before they even boarded the ships. Imagine the moment you realize you will never see your home again. Never hear your language spoken by familiar voices. Never walk the land your ancestors walked for generations. That moment happened millions of times on this coast. Captives were packed into ships holds with as little as 18 inches of space per person. They lay in their own waste. Disease spread rapidly. The air was suffocating. The psychological torment was unimaginable. The mortality rate averaged 15 to 20%. On some voyages, half the captives died. But for the traders, this was simply calculated loss, the cost of doing business. Many chose death over captivity. They refused to eat. They threw themselves overboard when brought on deck. Resistance took every form imaginable. It was saying, "You may take my body, but you will never own my soul." But this is not only a story of suffering. It is also a story of incredible resistance and survival. In the Americas, Yoruba, Igbo, and other Nigerian peoples became leaders of resistance movements. They preserved their languages in secret codes. They hid their gods in Catholic saints. They passed down stories, songs, and traditions. Yoruba religion survives in Brazil's candomblé. Igbo words echo in Caribbean dialects. Nigerian rhythms pulse through jazz, blues, and hip-hop. They were beaten, but never broken, enslaved, but never truly conquered. Today, millions of people in the Americas carry Nigerian ancestry. The connection is being rebuilt. DNA tests reunite descendants with their origins. The slave trade officially ended in Nigeria in the 1860s, but its effects reverberate to this day. Today, sites like Badagry's Point of No Return stand as memorials. They are places of pilgrimage for diaspora Africans seeking connection to their stolen heritage. When African Americans visit these sites, something profound happens.